Welcome back to Traveling with Denella and Friends. I'm Denella Ri'chard. If you've ever dreamed of going somewhere that most people only see in documentaries, this episode was made for you. I sat down with Gebhard Rainer, live from Seatrade Cruise Global in Miami, and by the end of this conversation, expedition cruising will no longer feel like something other people do. Welcome aboard. Gebhard, it's so nice to be here with you at Seatrade. And of course, you guys are doing some absolutely amazing things at HX Expeditions. But before we get into that, I want to know a little bit more about Gebhard Rainer, CEO. So, where'd you grow up?
Well, thanks very much for having me. I really appreciate being here. I grew up in Austria, in a very small village in the mountains, and really small place.
What's it called?
It's a very short name. It's called Erl, E-R-L.
Okay.
It is actually famous for one thing, and that is Passion Place. So we are reliving, every 6 years, we are reliving the suffering of Christ.
Yeah.
The whole village does that. It dates back to the 16th century when the Black Plague almost wiped out the whole village, and they made a pledge to replay the suffering of Christ every 6 years. And it's still happening up until today. So the whole village actually acts and plays. When you go in that year to my village, everybody has long hair and a beard, and they all act
That's
as being back
amazing.
in that, yes.
Wow.
So that's where I grew up and did hotel management college there in Austria. And then left when I was 19 because I thought Austria is too small and I need to see the world. And I haven't looked back since then. I've seen the world. I have not lived in Austria since then, although I go back every year. I have had the pleasure and the honor of being able to move around the world with the profession that I have. And I have seen and experienced so many things that I can only be thankful for it. And now I'm here.
Yes, and you worked for some amazing brands through the years. So
yes,
tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I started very early in my career to work for Hyatt. I joined Hyatt in the Middle East, in Saudi Arabia of all places. I was living in the Middle East at the time in the Persian Gulf, and then decided to join Hyatt in Saudi Arabia, moved to Eastern Europe with them and stayed with them for 26 years. I was the CFO, was my last position for Hyatt as a public company. And then left Hyatt, wanted to change industries, went into the fashion and leather industry and joined Coach in New York as their president and chief operating officer. It was a real fun period, very interesting. And then left Coach and decided to do a little bit for myself, opened my own company, advisory, consulting, worked a lot with Wall Street companies on retail and hospitality.
Yes.
And then by coincidence met the family that owns Sandals, the Caribbean all-inclusive, the Stewarts. Yes, exactly.
Absolutely.
And they wanted me to join them as their CEO, to bring for the first time a non-family member CEO into the business, to help them to internationalize it and bring more structure into it. It was a real fun period. I was there for 6.5 years with them, worked with Stewart, who then really unfortunately passed away in early 21. I have a very good relationship with Adam Stewart, his son, who has taken over now and is the chairman of the company. And in 2024, decided that I need to move closer back to Europe and wanted actually to move back to Europe and take it a little easy, not to be on constant pressure. But that changed very quickly when I received the offer to join HX, which initially I didn't want to because I am not really a cruise person. And when I read the word cruise, I thought, no, that's not for me. But then I looked at it in more detail and a little closer and understood that the values of what HX does and what we represent in expedition really being different.
Right, exactly. An emerging market too.
An emerging market, absolutely, yes.
Exactly.
Very experiential, very emotionally driven in terms of the product, creating unique memories, going to difficult to reach, very sensitive areas on this planet.
Right.
Backed by science and education with a real focus on sustainability. And that's what drew me to that offer, basically. And that's why I took on HX as the CEO and We split away from Hurtigruten.
Mm-hmm.
We're now fully independent.
Okay.
We're on our own since just over a year, and lots of exciting opportunity ahead of us.
Absolutely. So you're here at Seatrade, and it's the biggest event of the cruise industry by far. So we come here to, find out what's new, to hear about what are the latest, the greatest. So what's going on at HX Expedition? What's new? What do you want to share?
There's a lot going on.
Mhm.
Aside from the fact that we are independent now, we have our own brand, we
That's
have our own
amazing.
investors, which is a great thing. We have some new itineraries coming up as well. So we have 2 new itineraries in Alaska that we're introducing. Really, really nice.
For this Alaska season or for next year?
For this Alaska season already.
Okay.
One where we talk about the Great Lands with its
Yes.
fjords,
Yes.
and the other one is where the sea meets the mountains. 2 inside voyages, both very different, but both wonderful experiences. Very, very immersive.
Yes.
What is new is, and this is really big news, we have a 130-year history. We're the oldest startup company in the world. Startup because we're only a year old,
Right.
but we have a 130-year history.
Yes.
History that traces back to 1896. So this year we're celebrating 130 years. When the first commercial expedition was done from Hammerfest in Norway up to Svalbard. And the really big thing there is that we have recreated the original cabin that was on that first expedition ship on one of our ships.
Oh, wow.
Has been rebuilt, recreated, and our customers can experience that as of May. Anyone who is on a voyage with the MS Fridtjof Nansen, which is one of our hybrid ships, can experience that cabin for a night.
Oh, wow. Very amazing. Now, take us through. A lot of people have not, experienced expedition cruising. I haven't.
Right.
What is that like for someone who may be considering it? But how do you why should they do it?
Why should they do it? I think there's a number of reasons why one should do an expedition. One is it's travel with purpose. It gives you real purpose. It makes you think about the destination you go to, the communities. If you go up north, the communities you visit, the wildlife that you experience, the sensitivity of the areas that you go into, the science behind it, and the realization as to how much of our life on this planet depends on the ocean.
Right.
And most people don't think about that. Most people don't know or don't think about the fact that 70% of our planet is covered by water, by the ocean.
Right.
That 50% of the oxygen that we breathe is generated by the ocean. That half of the carbon in the air, the pollution that we have, is being absorbed by the ocean, by plankton in the ocean and brought to the ocean bottom and stored there. Right. Takes it out of the air. Our food chain starts in the ocean with plankton and phytoplankton. And it's so important to understand that food chain and protecting that food chain. Understanding climate change and how much is affected by us as humans and how much is cyclical. Really important stuff that we bring to our customers when we take them into those sensitive areas. We explain the importance of the authenticity and the protection of cultural heritage in those areas. The Inuit up north, for example. Really understanding and working with scientists. So each one of our ships has a science lab on board. Each one has permanent scientists on board, and we have guest scientists on board. And they do real science. It's not staged. It's not made for tourism. It's actual real science. So we provide every year close to 2,000 cabin nights free of charge to scientists for them to get into these areas they couldn't normally get to because they don't have the funding.
Right, so they can do the work for climate change and to make sure we have these beautiful places for future generations.
Exactly. And I think as a guest, when you go on expedition, and when you think about going on expedition, that is a very important factor. Think about that. There's a purpose there. It's mindful travel. It puts responsibility onto tourism as well, because we do help communities up north, the Inuit, develop responsible tourism. You can't have mass tourism overrun them.
And what's the onboard experience like? So what makes you unique? What makes you different?
So thank you for prompting me on this, because there is one very unique point here. We are the world first that developed a university program with the University of Tasmania, where we provide every guest that books Antarctica, and as of this year, the Arctic as well, with an entry-level university course where you do tests and you get a certificate at the end, which then allows you to take an accredited course. So we've developed accredited courses that you can use the university credits afterwards for any study you want worldwide.
Wow.
That takes you into the Arctic, into the Antarctic, and explains to you what actually, in a much deeper sense, actually what is happening there. So it puts the science behind it and the study behind it. This is the science and the educational part of what we do.
That's amazing. And what are some of the other partnerships that you're most proud of?
I think the other partnerships, of course, the over 30 scientific institutes that we work worldwide with is something we're very proud of.
Yeah, that is awesome.
But the partnership with Audubon, for example, here in North America, we're very proud of that. We have a number of other partnerships in various different areas that we're proud of. Partnership with the Arctic Inuit communities in Arctic Canada. They develop local programs for us, itineraries for us, that take our guests into their homes, explain to them their lifestyle, explain to them their culture. All proceeds from these experiences stay with them. So 100% of what we sell in these excursions goes to the Inuit up there.
Awesome.
We have a foundation that supports many different projects, Children in Greenland, and a number of other projects around the world in order to contribute back into those communities.
And when I think about the size of your ships, how many passengers?
So the smallest ship we have is in Galápagos with 90 passengers.
Okay.
And the largest ships we have, two of them, the two hybrid ships,
Yes.
The first hybrid ships in the industry, each one can carry 500 passengers.
Okay.
And 500 is really the limitation in terms
Right.
of how much you can, or how many passengers you can take into the Antarctic, for example. You
Exactly.
can't land anything beyond that.
Right. And how many ships are in the fleet now?
5 in total.
5 in total. Wow, very exciting. And when you look forward, when you look at, we hear so much about the industry, new ships, are there any new ships on the horizon that are coming soon?
Not coming soon for a variety of reasons. One, like I said, we're a very young company. We're just 1 year into existence, so
Yes.
it's part of our future planning now. 2, shipyards are full right now in terms of orders. So it's very
That's
hard
amazing,
to actually,
right?
yes,
When you
absolutely
really
amazing.
just sit back and think about that.
Yes.
Shipyards are full.
Yeah.
Wow.
You have to go to Asia in order to get an order book that's closer in.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go to the traditional shipyards right now, you won't get a new ship before 2035.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
it's quite a period, yes.
Yes, it is
Yeah.
indeed. So when I think about it, I told you I was going to hit you probably with a hot seat question.
Okay,
Right, this is a good one. I think you can handle this one.
I'll try.
Yes, here we go. Hot seat question. If you could take anyone, a friend, a family member, someone famous on an HX expedition, who are you taking and where are you going?
Oh, wow. Okay. Can I have a multiple answer there?
Sure.
Okay. So in terms of famous and TV personality, I would take you into Antarctica.
Oh, that would be a dream. I haven't been there. So, yes,
Exactly.
I'm ready to go.
Right.
My bags are packed. We can go right
excellent.
after.
I think in terms of the Arctic, I always enjoy to go with scientists who are world renowned, who are famous, who
Yes.
understand the area and who can actually contribute towards the journey itself. Because it's so rewarding when you travel with somebody who actually understands the purpose and the meaning behind it. I mean, I would have loved to travel with David Attenborough.
Oh, yes, right?
If there would ever be a time wrap to go back, it would be fantastic.
Yeah, just to look at his work and, over the years as he had tracked, being in different places and how climate change
Yes.
impacted it.
Yeah.
So do you, and when you're out there with those scientists, do you really see the impact of climate change?
Yes, absolutely. And it's shocking in many ways. So I've been twice now to Antarctica. I went last year and I went in January this year again. And within that span of 1 year, I could physically see how glacier ice has retreated. You can actually see the migration paths of wildlife being really pressured in terms of the north migration of wildlife looking for food and nesting periods because their natural habitats either disappearing or have disappeared or are endangered.
Wow.
There is probably not much we can do right now because it's very far along the path already, but we can slow it down and action has to be taken, but it needs a consolidated effort to do that.
Well, it sounds like HX Expeditions has the right guy at the helm.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been a joy speaking with you. Thank you. Gebhard Rainer, Chief Executive Officer of HX Expeditions, Antarctica, the Arctic, Norway, the Galápagos. If any of those destinations made your heart move during this episode, that is HX calling your name. Links, itineraries, and everything you need to take the next step are in the description. Gebhard, thank you for the world you opened up today. I intend to bring my audience there personally, and I mean this. If this conversation added value to your day, subscribe, leave a comment, and share this episode with someone in your world who loves to travel. It's the best way to help this show grow. Until travel again, keep exploring, keep growing, and I'll see you on the journey.